Away the lads, everybody. Welcome to a new match reaction. We are live here on the American Magpie. My name is Chris, the American Magpie. And ah, what a game. What a game. Um it's frustrating. It's frustrating and also feel good that we tied the game, that we managed to tie the game. Um man, it is frustrating. Uh By the way, we were doing a watch along, and my computer decided to just go off, and we didn't we couldn't finish the watch along. But listen, we're back with the match reaction, and watching this whole game. It's just a million things, a million just things that are going through your mind. The game wasn't a pretty game at all. Uh, we managed to get a tie at the end with Matt Ritchie, but it just can't be enough. It just can't be enough, man. It can't be enough. I mean, today really in the first couple of games. By the way, I'm back with the reason why this shirt gets on, this thing on my head comes on the show is because when something crazy happens, then we're able to to because it was the draw that we had in the beginning. It was a crazy moment. It was a crazy. Uh, Time and of course I screamed my lungs out, but when you look at it in retrospect, why do we suffer like that? Why do we have to suffer like that, man? It's just incredible. I don't understand it. We bring it upon ourselves to suffer like this, and I just don't get it. I don't get it because I feel like we can easily not have to go through games and have to be in bad form. I don't believe in this home form, a bad home form and bad away form. I don't believe in that. I just believe that we have bad form. We're inconsistent. And that is the reason as to why we are not able to keep up. And that is the main reason. Dan Burn gets cooked on the left side again. And it's just frustrating, man. It's just frustrating. Because we mention it every week. And whenever he plays good, that's all it's perfect, amazing. When he plays good is good. But for the most part, he's gonna get outpaced. We're not gonna be able to get Derek on the show, the mighty win because he's at the stadium, of course. A lot of the insiders are on the stadium. A few are gonna come on the show, I'm sure, at some point in time. So go ahead and smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. By the way, you can become a member of the show for less than a pound on you see the join button. Join the channel for exclusive content and exclusive perks. If you want to have everything, all access to every single thing, you have to join to the highest tier, the Mangbites Assemble Ultimate. But I appreciate your support, and of course, you can super chat us as well on the bottom right corner on the dollar sign. We're now able to get monetized, and it's been a terrific, an amazing thing. Let me know in the comment section. This show is for you, so let me know in the comment section what you think, what your thoughts are about this match in particular. I want to get your opinion. I want to get your thoughts. It's been, we'll show it and read your comments. This match reaction is for you, literally, because on the match review on Mondays and Sundays, obviously we have a big panel and we can't react to every comment. But yeah, drop your comment quickly and let me know what you think. It's been a really tough game, and it's been a tough couple of weeks for us. We don't have center backs. We seem to play a left back that his he just doesn't perform well there. And unfortunately, when he doesn't perform well, we have to say it. We can't sit around and say, Burn is playing amazing, and we move on. No, because he's not, and it's not because of him. I keep defending him. I'm actually defending him. It's not him. He's gonna go to the. He's gonna go there, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to do a good job. But he's just not able to keep up with Ilanga, with Mo Salah, with uh, you know, with Semenyo, with Bailey, with all these players. He's not going to be able to keep up, and that is a normal thing. And we shouldn't normalize the fact that okay, well, all left backs get outpaced at some point in time. That's not what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what we're talking about. Well, you know what we're talking about. You know what we mean when we say he can't keep up. It's because he is almost a 7-footer and he's not fast enough. That's why he is a center back. He should play center back. And I've said this a million times. We should, you know, adjust. If you want to have Burn in your team, you should have three center backs. You still have your right back and your left back, and you take away somebody from a forward. You take away a forward. If Burn is that crucial to your team, then that's what needs to be done. You need to take somebody out. But you can't jeopardize the team by letting them play on the left side because he gets cooked every single time. And it's not a criticism. It's not a criticism to Burn. It's a criticism to Eddie Howe, who is a tremendous, a terrific manager. But on this one, he is being stubborn. That's just the way it is. He's being stubborn. Matt Ritchie, big up Matt Ritchie. He came on at the 90th minute and got a draw out of nowhere. Amazing. But those are your options. You know what I mean? Read between the lines. Those are your options. Your options are Matt Ritchie coming on from the bench, Joe White, who is a younger lad, and of course, still got a lot of football to go. But those are your options right there. Lewis Hall doesn't come on the pitch. Paul Dummett doesn't come on the pitch. Emil Kraft doesn't come on the pitch. You just resign his contract, extended his contract, and he doesn't come on. Look at the mighty win. The mighty win says Livermore got skinned as well. No cover from midfield. Hey, the mighty win. By the way, big up to the only one, Derek. He is an NUFC insider. He must be still in the match. He must be still in the stadium. I'm sorry. He must be in the stadium. The mighty win, but he doesn't. He can't control himself. He has to type this in from the stadium, from St. James's Park, because he wants to defend Burn. But it doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter, Mighty Win and Derek, the same person. Derek, because the Livermore, that's you say he gets skinned as well. But they didn't score off of Livermore. It's always Dan Burn. Let me welcome Kevin to the chat. Please drop your comments. I want to get everybody's opinion on this subject in hand. How you doing? Everything good, brother?
Yeah, just need a few bit of medication after watching that thing. A bit of heart rate and blood pressure.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, we have to deal with this every week now. I mean, because now in the beginning of the season, rivals and opponents, I'm sure they just looked at it as like, oh, look, we have an opportunity here on the left side, right side for us, talking, from the rivals' perspective. And now it almost feels like that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. Like the managers are coming onto the pitch and saying, you know what, we're gonna attack from the right side. They're going straight at him. Semenyo was in the picture with Burn the whole time since kickoff. So let me get your opinion, and then I can get Tony as well because he's on the chat. Big up to you guys. But yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
But it was. It's hard. I'm trying to just recollect what was. But their second goal essentially was a carbon copy of the Luton goal. The boy just peeled off of Botman or Shaw, whoever, and just isolated Dan Burn. And it was a brilliant finish. I mean, it was a wonderful goal. I'm not taking anything away from the finish at all. But again, you can see from our coverage what, Chris, you probably would have seen. I don't know, Tony, what you've seen in terms of your coverage, but the camera angle just off the corner flag, you see Sven Botman screaming at him to go and close the ball down. And he didn't. He did, but it was half-hearted. It was, do I go? Do I sit? Do I just track and push him out wide? Not expecting the shot. And that's the problem. See, and this is my bigger problem. We can dissect earlier in the game, but this is my problem. As a coach, as a confidence level, you don't hold somebody off after that occurs. I've been banging on this drum a while. In terms of then you bring Tino on and not had similar problems. It took the lad off. Semedo, they took him off. So that makes Tino's life a little bit easier. But don't take him off. Keep him on. And for me, and I've said it before, go to a 3. go to a 3. If you're going to bring Tino on, keep him on, because in defensive moments in the game, defensively, when they were pushing, within the 10 minutes of stoppage time or even earlier than that, they were throwing balls in. They were, fair play to Bournemouth. That's a tactic. So we lost height defensively, and we had a couple of corners. We've lost height. Excuse me. So for me, not saying he was I'll give him the worst performance of the day, to be perfectly honest, was I would have hauled Miggy off.
Oh yeah,
way earlier than what they did. I would have changed the shape completely, like I said in NUFC Matters, and I said on this show previously in the week. They overloaded our midfield. I didn't expect. I believe they would have went man to man, and they did. They stopped us playing. Their high press was good. So their first one was just a calamity. However, again, if you look, there's a replay, there's a still of it when Botman gets the ball and Lewis Miley's pinned up against their right back. If Botman just has a bit more thought, rather than playing Dubravka, which puts him under massive amount of pressure, by the way, if you just clip it into Lewis Miley when he's pinned up against their fullback, he can bring the ball in, we'll get out. We'll miss the press is, will nullify what they're doing, which we've done all game. But again, it's those moments and little decisions that we're just quite happy to keep the ball at the back and move it out and build it up, which I understand, I appreciate. I coach it every day. I coach it with 7-year-olds. I coach it with 12-year-olds. But at the same time, sometimes you've just got to go long like we did. But not in that most specific moment, if Botman just clips it down the line with his left foot, even if it goes into the east stand, that's not a problem. We haven't conceded a goal. We can get set and have a structure behind the ball. But that was my big thing in terms of Holland burn off and make him again the scapegoat in terms of what occurred. Yes, there was no recovery from our midfield. Granted, now you're running uphill, but again, it's the 1 versus 1 defending element that I have a problem with it, and it's becoming to the head, and he's getting isolated based on the way that we play, because we'll heavily go down the right, and typically Burn will tuck and make a 3, but he's not doing that because he's more worried about the opposition right-sided player, and he's not tucking in. Look, you can have all that space. You can have all of that. It's going to take a worldly of a pass to get to you. Have it. But again, that's just me. I was disappointed that in Eddie Howe's game management in terms of substitutions, it was quite baffling at times. Granted, I haven't got any centre forwards, but at the same time, it was quite odd of his subs and when he did it and who he brought on. Glad to see Joe White come on for his debut, but is that really the moment that you put in a young lad coming back from a loan to try and get you something out of the game? Look, he done well when he came on. He kept it. It was simple and all the rest of it. But at the same time, it's like, well, why again, Eddie Howe's making a rod for his own back here by all the fan scrutiny against one certain player. Why haul him off? So he's not helping the situation. He's making the situation worse. Yes, Dan Burn could have done a lot better. Of course he could have done. But he's not helping the situation, in my opinion. However, I nearly flipped my TV's kind of set in a little cove in the wall, but that TV almost came off it, like out of it, when Matt Ritchie scored, who was unexpected. And I said, what are you bringing him on for? But lo and behold, he gets the equaliser and all the rest of it. But again, I thought Bournemouth had a brilliant game plan to unsettle us and make it bitty, make it, pulling of shirts and all of it, just little niggly things. And I thought the referee forgot his cards in the first half, but to be fair, he was consistent, but that's what you want from a referee. But at the same time, there's certain levels of consistency that you have to understand where we're going. you know, fair's fair. I mean, it was just a weird, odd game, but that's Premier League football for you. And
Yeah.
I would
Uh,
I would happily watch it, but hey, it is what it is.
yeah.
Is a point, unfortunately.
Um, yeah. It was frustrating to watch the whole game. I mean, to be honest with you, we had good moments, but I mean, I just can't believe. I don't believe in home form, away form. I just believe in form in general. I think, that's what I believe personally. Um, but I mean, we just can't play like this at home, man. There's no way we can play this at home. Um, First of all, I want to thank. I think there was a Macam on the chat, but you know, it, yeah, we had to do something about that. But I want to thank our members. We have like 10 members now, and of course Tony is one, the Mighty Win is one, um, also Paul Clark as well as um, I'm gonna Ian as well. So appreciate you, Ian. I'm gonna look for the members and of course shout out everybody. But let me get Roy. What's happening, man? Where you at?
How you doing, mate? I've just left the pub while we watched the game. Fucking
Yeah,
shit that was.
yeah, man. But you know what? Let me get situated real quick, and then I'll go with Tony's point. He was here waiting. So, but are you home, or do you want to go right now, Roy?
No, no, I'm still in the pub.
Oh,
I'm
you're
trying
still
to
in the
get to
pub.
bed.
Okay, what? No,
Yeah.
you're good, brother. Then go ahead then, because you never know. You might get disconnected or something. What do you think, man?
Uh, um, um, well, we'll miss the number 9 today, don't we? And Dan Burn again, like a bit unlucky as well with the first goal, but
The Rementa, yeah.
yeah, it's the same usual suspects as Miggy again, not taking like, oh, they can't hit the target, man, and I don't know. It's just a bad day in the park. I think a draw was a fair result though, because they missed a few chances as well. So I think the draw was good.
Yeah. I guess I can go with Tony. Tony, I mean, we can't keep playing like this, man. We can't keep playing like this, brother.
No, to be honest with you, I did say, I'd happily take a 1-0 win. But look, first half weren't great at all, was it? And I mean, I was thankful for the half-time whistle. I mean, look, Dubravka made at least 3 saves in that first half, and the one Solanke should have put away, he didn't, and he gave Dubravka the chance of saving it. So luckily, we could have got. I mean, we could have gone in 1-0 down. So luckily for Solanke not having his shooting boots on properly in the first half, saved us from going in 1-0 down. But second half, it they just seem to be at us again, and then obviously Dubravka slipped. Was an unfortunate slip, I think, in a way. I don't think it was deliberate that he slipped. I think he just lost his footing. And Solanke was never going to miss from there. If he did miss, then obviously he needs to go to the nearest Specsavers. But no. Look, he put the ball in the back of the net and made it 1-0, and then you think, right, okay, we need to get back into this now. And then there was this long VAR check, see if it was a penalty, check the offside. And I think the penalty was rightly given, because when you look at it, yes, Cher was offside, but the thing is, he did not touch the ball, and that's why they couldn't give him offside, because he didn't touch the ball. So technically, he's not interfering with play.
Yeah.
So then they sent Michael Salisbury to the monitor. Now, the last time Michael Salisbury was sent to a monitor, he didn't give us the goal, and that was against Palace. But this time, thankfully.
Right.
But what I was pleased with was, yes, it took some time. It took over 4.5 minutes. And this is what I'm saying about VAR. I don't mind how long they take, as long as they come to the correct decision. And I felt they came to the correct decision on that, and that was a penalty. And this is what I've been saying for a long, long time, that if they take their time over things on VAR, like they did when we played Arsenal, we beat them 1-0 with that goal. They checked the offside, they checked the ball went out of play and everything in a foul. Now, I haven't got a problem with that. And then I'm thinking, who's going to take this penalty now? And then they said, oh, it's Anthony Gordon. And I thought, all right, great. And then, he snuck it in past Neto. And I thought, right, okay, 1-1, come on, let's see a surgeon. Yeah, let's let's go on and try and push for this winner. And then if we get ahead, then maybe we go 2 or 3 ahead. But that didn't seem the case. And then don't know what Dan Burn was doing, but he sort of lost Semenyo. And I mean, look, can't take the finish away from Semenyo. It was one hell of a finish. Even Dubravka couldn't get nowhere near that. I don't even think Pope would have got near that, to be honest with you. The way it was rifled in the back of the net. And the celebration to go with it was pretty quality too, as well, to be fair. But then they had chances, but they didn't put them away. And then we had plenty of chances to score. And then we make then we obviously make the substitution. We take Dan Burn off for Livramento, and everybody's. I know people are shouting, "No, it's too late now." Why wasn't Burn pulled off earlier? Why was Burn playing? But Livramento did get skinned in that game as well. So it wasn't the fact that we took Dan Burn off because he's not very good against pace. We had Livramento on who was pacey, but even he gets skinned as well. So at the end of the day, we have got this problem at left back. But look, we got a draw out of it. We were lucky to get a draw out of it, and it just happened to be it had to be Matt Ritchie, didn't it? Of all people that come on, you couldn't make it up, could you? Matt Ritchie, ex-Bournemouth, coming on and getting an equaliser for us. And then the 10 minutes of injury time, you're thinking, right, okay, we'll go for it now. And we did go for it. And then Solanke went on a run, but didn't go anywhere. But, I think a draw, you've got to look at it now and say, after the performance of today, you've got to think that draw's a fair result. And as I say, I don't attach any blame to Burn for it whatsoever. The result, you can't blame Burn for it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and this is the problem we've been saying for a long time, and and look, I like Eddie Howe, and I want Eddie Howe to succeed. But all us fans can see that every team, as soon as Burn's playing, their fastest player is on Burn every single game, whether it's Semenyo, Alanga, whoever it is, they're on Burn all the time. And the thing is, if everybody else can see it, why can't Eddie Howe see this? And this is the problem. Where's Eddie seeing this part? And this is what we need to see from Eddie Howe. To say, look, I can see where the problem is. I don't know what's up with Lewis Hall. He's not getting any game time. I'm just wondering if there's some sort of clause in that contract. If we don't play him if he doesn't play so many games, he goes back to Chelsea. I don't know if there's any sort of clause in that. Because that's the only thing that I can think of why he's not playing is because Eddie Howe doesn't want to keep him there. But we just, look, 1 point out of 6 against Bournemouth really isn't good enough, really, is it? Teams like Bournemouth, we should not disrespect them. I know they're playing some pretty football under Areola, but we should be taking teams apart. Yes, we've got no strikers, because obviously we've got no Isak, no Wilson. Gordon played well. When he took Harvey Barnes off, I thought, well, why don't you take Miggy Almiron off? He had a shocker again today. His 2 shots went over the bar, not even on target. So a bit disappointed in that respect. But do you know what? To get the draw, I'm happy with that. I would rather have had the win, if I'm honest, because West Ham lost, Spurs lost.
Yeah.
So I would have liked the draw. The only saving grace for us tomorrow is Man City play Chelsea, and Chelsea won't get anywhere near past Man City. So, at least Chelsea can't get above us.
But Tony, the thing is that we don't even think that we don't even say, you know what, everybody else is losing. Let's catch up. Let's win. No matter what. Let's get it done. We just never take care of the opportunity. And it's listen, and I'm sorry, a draw, if you look at it from where we were in the match, amazing. Same thing with Luton. But that can't overshadow that we played. We didn't play good. We didn't play good. But finish your point. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, look, the thing is, though, like I say, when you've got the likes of teams around you losing, obviously Spurs aren't around us because we're in the top 4, but but when you've got the likes of Spurs dropping points, you got the likes of West Ham dropping points, and we're around where West Ham, at Brighton, etc. are. we need to be taking these points, these maximum points, and getting away from these teams, because if we can start opening the gap up between the likes of us, ourselves, and Brighton and Man City, sorry, not Man City, West Ham United, sorry, Brighton, West Ham United, and obviously Wolves and Chelsea, who are further back. If we can open gaps up against them, you know, as I've said, I'll quite happily take 7th place all day long, you know, because that gets European football. Now, I know that they're talking that 5th could be a Champions League spot, but the way we've played today, we needed maximum points today because we got Arsenal next weekend. And I tell you now, Arsenal's just took Burnley apart 5-0, and they won't show no mercy against us, that's for sure. And obviously, I see Calvin Phillips got sent off for West Ham, and we were heavily linked with him. Thank God we didn't get him, because since he's gone to West Ham, he's been absolutely dire. So I'm pleased we never signed him.
Yeah, let me go to the man of the hour. I love that Roy is driving. That's dedication, man. Dedication to the insiders, to the NUFC insiders. So, Roy, you've won our hearts, brother. But unfortunately, I have to let Derek talk. You know, he's obviously gonna defend Burn, and that's fine, because I'm actually not blaming. If you blame the game on Burn, you have a problem. We made mistakes all over, and we were unlucky as well. Dubravka slipped. You can't blame the man. He was running, he slipped. You know, that could have happened in the midfield, and nobody would have ever brought it up. And there was a comment, you know, but we'll address it. We'll address the comments as they come. One thing before I let the mighty win talk, I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody's that become a member as well. Gary, I appreciate you. Jordy Revolution, Ian Fleming, Betsy, my wife, I have to thank her, of course. Lewis, Newcastle fan, the mighty win. Terry Cook, Paul Clark, Tony. It's all black and white TV. Appreciate your support as usual, coming on, and of course, becoming members of the show. You can become a member, and you can also super chat. That way you can support the channel as well. The mighty win. It's your turn, man. Were you at the match today?
I was.
You must live right next to St. James's Park, because it didn't take you long to jump on.
3 mile away.
All right. Well, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Well, the first thing is the referee was diabolical.
Yeah.
But that's by the by, really. At least we got the penalty. That was the main thing, because as soon as he went to the monitor, I was worried about that. I'm lucky my seat. I can jump out my seat and run down to the concourse and see what's happening with the VAR and that. And I've got to say, it took me 3 or 4 minutes to see before they actually showed the angle where his shirt's off his back. So it took ages to get that. But as Tony said earlier on, and I'm in full agreement, I don't care how long it takes, as long as they arrive at the right decision. I'm going to leave Dan Burn alone, because everybody knows my views on Dan. And it's back to the midfield again, man. That midfield is non-existent. There's a plateau the size of the steps in the middle of that pitch at the minute when the opposition break. And we cannot go with Miley, Longstaff, and Bruno again. Bruno is trying so hard that it's affecting his game. I've been advocating for months now for to put Share in his DM and shove Burn in the middle and Livramento left back. But the other thing that we are completely missing at the minute, and it's so, to me, it's unmissable, that we just haven't got a focal point up front at all. There's nothing there. So you see them tippy-tappy round the box, and then they'll go back to the halfway line, and they'll pass it across the halfway line. There's just no penetration at all. And it's pointless throwing a ball in, because there's nobody there to be on the end of it. So we've got to address that problem, even if it means something radical, like, I don't know, stupid sticking Lascelles up top. Just somebody who's got a bit of presence. because at the minute that was dire today, to be honest, absolutely dire. The referee didn't help it, but it was poor. I thought Maley had a good game, but other than that, it was, what are we watching here? The number that Kevin mentioned it earlier on before about the back three, and by the way, that was partly responsible for us Dubs slip. I mean, Dubs would have been a 9 out of 10 today if it weren't for that slip, because that knocks him straight down to a 5 league. But he made 2 brilliant saves early doors when again they just came straight through our midfield, and it was I don't know what Tony who said Solanke fluffed it. I didn't think Solanke fluffed it. It was just an absolutely brilliant save. And he made 2 brilliant saves in the first 20 minutes. But it's something's got to change, because there's no bigger Eddie fan than what I am. But he's got to start proving to me now a little bit that he is the manager that I think he is. Discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. The good news is,
No.
you know, we've got. If somebody had said to us, we're going to take 2 points from Forest, Bournemouth, and Luton at home, they would have been laughed off this stage, and that's what we've done. But the Luton result was mitigated by the result we got at Villa, and if we can go to Arsenal and beat Arsenal, big if. But that's just the sort of thing Newcastle do. If we can go to, that means we've got 4 points from Arsenal away, and Bournemouth at home. You would have kind of settled with that before the games were played. So that's a little bit of a bright light shining through. But that all depends on beating Arsenal. And I don't think Arsenal are as good as everybody says they are, to be honest. I know they've won the last 2 games 5-0. But, Burnley, Palace.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, man. I still have a sour taste because I just felt like we could. Well,
It was
listen.
poor today. It was poor today. That's I don't know anybody who said anything different.
No, but you were in the stadium, so the broadcasters were saying that fans were leaving early. Is that true?
Well, not around me, they weren't.
Because they said, yeah, some fans might have missed the Matt Ritchie goal because they're leaving earlier. I wonder. Sometimes they do that just to say because they like that phrase a lot. But I found it a little bit weird. But I'm asking you since you were in the stadium.
No, I didn't. I didn't notice any mass exodus or anything at all. In fact, quite the opposite. Because I think what time did we equalise? What was the time?
90th. No, wait, not 90th. Let me see.
No. When did we equalise?
92-ish.
Yeah, because Matt Ritchie came on at the 90th. So,
well, I mean, the place just erupted then.
92. Yeah.
It was, so I certainly didn't notice any lack of volume or lack of population then.
I mean, but let's be honest. Yeah,
there was a few empty seats in the Milburn stand end because when the camera panned round, you saw the few. But I mean,
well, you see that a lot of people leave early, regardless of what the score is, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like me. It's why I compare it with having a pint of beer and leaving, an inch in the bottom every time. I can't see the point myself. But
I mean, okay. So getting back to the game, game and looking at the future. I mean, let's be honest, man. Like this, we're not going to beat Arsenal. I don't care what Derek and the Geordie gang say, because listen, we just can't play like this. We're talking about, and listen, Arsenal don't blow me away, but we're talking about a team that's competing for the title, competing, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say that they're the best. They're and I'm sure they're going to get they will get smoked with other teams like City, etc. But we just can't be this inconsistent, man. And again, we played against Villa and we beat them, and it was great. But you know,
I don't think we are inconsistent, Chris.
you think
We're consistently poor.
okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
when
even
we
even
beat Villa,
against Villa, we didn't play great football that day. We just happened to convert all our chances.
yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
You know, we didn't play great against Villa. Great result. That's football. But I don't think we played any better against Villa than we have done against Forest, Luton, or Brighton, Bournemouth. And by the way, when you were mentioning the other teams around us, Tony, you left Brighton out of that because their game in hand now against Sheffield United tomorrow, they can go above us.
Yeah. I did say Brighton.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said that you were on about Villa and Man United and Tottenham.
No,
yeah.
I said Brighton, Chelsea, and that around us, but obviously Chelsea
Yeah,
will
yeah,
get walloped tomorrow off
Chelsea.
City anyway.
Let me go to some comments right now. People are want to have their say, and that's fine. And listen, you as a fan, you can say whatever you want. That's just the way it is. I mean, you're a Newcastle fan. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Just because we are behind the camera doesn't mean that we are better than you. Just because you disagree or agree, um, just keep it respectful. Keep it respectful, and you can see some tendencies of some commenters that make sense sometimes, but then they go way left and they say a offhanded comment about the team or about Eddie Howe. You know, we can sense, and I'm not whether they're Mackems or
They are.
whatever they are, that you can tell they're not Newcastle fans. If you know if you want to kill and slaughter the whole everybody in the team, you can't be a Newcastle fan. And put some sense behind your comment. That way we can all have a nice chat and because if you're just gonna banter and say everybody needs to leave the club, then you know it doesn't add to the purpose. You know, we need to be moving forward as fans as well. So let me go with some comments. Tsunami says, I've been saying this for a month. Can't keep blaming injuries. You know, if you blame the whole thing on injuries and that's the reason why, then we have an issue. You know, I'm sorry, Derek. You can't at the end of the day, man. So what happens? We just close the club and come next year and come back next year? No. You know, players need to step up as well. And I'm telling you, I'm not telling you to beat Manchester City. I'm not telling you to beat Real Madrid and Barcelona, which Barcelona sucks. But I'm not telling you to beat these teams. I'm telling you to beat Luton, Bournemouth. You know, at least perform better. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Chris,
eh,
the
that's all I'm saying.
Premier League is not a farmers' league. There's no easy games in the Premier League. None.
No. Yeah, we okay. Well, then, so
Some
what
are
happened?
harder than others, but there's
What
no
happened?
easy games.
What happened with Newcastle and Sheffield United? Farm in the top league like the Premier League.
We had a good day. They had a bad day. They are a bad team.
Well, so there are bad teams in the Premier League. You know, nobody is.
Mhm.
You know, nobody is.
Well,
I'm sorry, but
hang on though, Chris. You're saying that right. So Luton came to Newcastle, probably should have won, truth be told.
yeah,
And Sheffield United went to Luton and beat Luton.
right. But
So
I'm saying
does
it's
that
not.
make Luton a bad team?
It's the Premier League, but it's not a league that everybody can beat anybody and everybody contends for the title.
It
Let's not do that.
absolutely is.
No, you think anybody contends for the title? Anybody can win the Premier League. It's so
I'm not saying
competitive.
anybody. I'm not saying anybody can compete for the title, but any team can beat any other team on the day.
Yeah, but that happens everywhere. Look at Girona. Look at all these teams across the world. It happens everywhere. You can lose a match like this. And although Luton, because people keep bringing Luton, is this team that makes things difficult for? Yeah, they do. But at the end of the day, they still lost against City. They still got drawn at the end against Liverpool. They still lost against Arsenal. So they make it difficult. But you as a team, if you want to say, if us Newcastle fans want to say, you know what, last year wasn't a fluke. We deserve to be in this spot. And myself, at the beginning of the season, I was like, you know what, we need to be top four, and because I believe in the team that we can accomplish that. But you got to beat somebody at the end of the day, man. You know what I mean? It can't just be all talk. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all I'm getting at. You can
Yeah,
lose games and
but
stuff, but
anybody who follows Newcastle United knows that with the squad we had last year,
yeah,
we overachieved massively to get top four. It was incredible, as I've said before. on here even, I think. Last year was the best. I've been going till 63, and last year was the most enjoyable season I've ever had.
Right.
Primarily because we overachieved. During the entertainers' time, you expected to win.
Right.
If you had a bad performance then, it was unusual. But last season we overachieved. And the two major summer signings that we had, Tonali and Barnes, who were going to improve our squad and kick us on to the next level, or at least keep us in the Champions League, have been unavailable all season virtually. The two major signings that were made. So our squad, the side that beat PSG, for example, there was 9 players in the team that played that night who played under Steve Bruce when we were perennial relegation battlers.
Do we have players now that still play under Bruce?
That played under Bruce. No way.
We don't.
Ghostwire.
Yeah,
Almiron, Shea,
2/3 of the squad.
Joe
2/3 of the squad was under
Linton.
Bruce.
Joe Linton. So we do.
Lascelles. Richie.
And Eddie, and I believe that Eddie was good to make him play better, to believe in a different project. Of course, that time in those times, everything was horrible. Everything. I mean, the players probably didn't even want to go train. But then things changed, and we did good. I don't think we overachieved last season because I don't recall VAR giving us penalties. I don't recall us paying under the table.
We would have overachieved even more if it wasn't for VAR.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. But let me go to the comments, and we'll just read them and not get caught in the comments because of course we'll be here all day. But yeah, Tunarmi said that. Robert says sorry to say, but we say Howe needs to learn, but he cost a lot of points this season. That's his opinion. Oh, there's Van Hayden. I don't know if he was a MAGA or not, but yeah.
Yeah, he's changed his
Gotta be a
name.
Mackham.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean
From
says
Lord Savannah to whatever he's was on there.
Sean says Bruno was magic again. Miley is getting better and better every game, and Dan Burn should have pressed him.
Miley was exceptional today.
Yeah, Miley was good. I will agree on that.
Yeah.
Foxy, big up Foxy, says certain players will be scapegoated, of course. However, hate to say we should be questioning how the system leaves us wide open, considering for fun, and they deserve more goals. 3 at the back.
Foxy's spot on yet again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Hogan says it's not about Howe getting sacked. It's about having a choice amongst the players and being able to change it up. Gordon is not a striker. The owner's not getting one in on loan is coming back to haunt us. That is a fair point as well. Barry
It is a fair point, but I know you're going to
ahead.
read through the comments. So let me
Go ahead.
comment on that.
Yes, quickly.
Gordon played as a false 9, and there was multiple movements within the 3 at top. And it looked better based on them into-out movements. But again, it's just certain qualities that we have in the final third when that occurs.
Yeah.
So Gordon can play there. It's just players around him. I mean, good Lord, when the ball was played into Sean Longstaff and he looked like he was running in treacle, and then he couldn't even control the ball to finish. Things like that in the work on through the week. And Miggy had the chance, same thing, ball in behind, missed the chance, put it pretty much into the new stack building with one of these finishes or whatever it was, and it was very disappointing. I mean, it was crap. I mean, you've got Anthony Gordon sitting there running down the outside, and you can just slide him in. Yes, I understand he want to score because he only had 1 in 19 or whatever it is, but at the same time, it's more about the team than you. But I think Gordon can play there. He's just not he's not the physical striker that typical strikers are, but he works his nuts off and he'll run himself into the ground for you. It's called a false 9. Everybody knows what it is. And I disagree with that comment in terms of he's not a striker. Well, he's not. He's a false 9 and he can bring players into play. So yeah. And I've got a comment about Eddie Howe, and that, but we'll probably get on to that
Yeah,
later.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Barry says, can't blame Byrne for that result, or are you going to blame Dubravka for being in A? Well, no, I mean, I don't think you can blame either or. I think both made mistakes, but I mean, the thing is, if you can't make a mistake, then I just don't know what football is anymore. However, I think that he gets put in a situation, Byrne, where he's not going to succeed most times. That's just the way I think about it. So it's not Byrne. That's the thing. He is the one that gets looked at. But I mean, Dubravka, again, to your point, Barry. I mean, Dubravka just slipped. Can't blame him for slipping. I mean, what else could you do? Change your
But
shoes. I mean, it's just the way it
like
is.
I said, he was put in that situation by Sven Botman to play it inside.
Right.
What, like I said earlier,
And some,
why doesn't he just go long?
sometimes that's the thing. Managers and players and teams get over. They just try to play this football that we're gonna get out on our own. We're gonna pass our way out. And sometimes you just gotta play 1920s Derek the Mighty Wind style. Just send it across. You know what I mean? Just shoot it. Get it out of the dangerous area. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to be pretty all the time. David says we aren't finishing top six. Absolutely, best scenario is seventh with 5 other teams in the mix for seventh as well. We look a very average side at the moment with questionable decisions from Eddie. James says we have Frickle fans who are always looking for scapegoats to blame. No team has had all the injuries and not suffer badly for it. James says as well, anyone questioning Howe needs to give themselves a shake. He saved us from relegation, got us to top 4, and people think he doesn't know what he's doing. Get a grip, guys. It's James Fretwell. And I appreciate Harry Austin for becoming a YouTube member on the channel. Big up, Harry. Appreciate it, mate. I appreciate that 100%. You'll be able to enjoy exclusive content as well as getting a shot of winning a home shirt at the end of February. If you are the top tier, Magpies Assemble Ultimate, you have a better chance, but everybody gets a chance. So that's the positive. We got a lot of comments, so we might not get to all of them, but regardless, I'll keep showing them. Kevin, you wanted to say something. Sorry. What was that? I
Yeah,
will
just
get
about
I will get to Roy's when he sits down and gets a cold beer and he's able to chat. But go ahead,
hey,
Kevin.
I'll let Roy get situated and all above, but I've said this again for a while. In terms of ceilings, not in terms of financial ceilings, and not in terms of other ceilings. I'm just talking about Eddie Howe's ceiling of where he can take this club. Not that I don't want him to get him the sack. I'm not advocating for that. But if you look at it, even the team we played against today, yes, he took him from the second division all the way to the Premier League, which is a monumental feat. Fair play to you. Playing a brilliant brand of football. But the reason why he got sacked was he was conceding. He was losing games. He wasn't winning games. Yes, he might pick up the odd win here or there. And he got found out. Tactically, he got found out. And that's why he lost his job at Bournemouth. Not that I know any Bournemouth fans, but it's evident he's been found out. And he's stubborn enough not to change and unwilling to change the way. Look, we all have philosophies. We all want to see certain things being done within the game and this and that. Of course you do. Granted, we're not going to blame injuries. Look, you go with what you got. No, you go with what you got. But at the same time, it's like putting square pegs in round holes half the time. In my opinion, it's like, the same players across the past however many months. Granted, injuries do play a part, but then you've got to look at it in terms of a periodization standpoint. You've got to look at it as the recovery process. You've got to look at it now, medical staff. There's going to have to be a big inquest, massive inquest into the end of this year of what went wrong. We've had how many head physios in the past 9 months? We've had all sorts of different things, like medical team, medical staff, performance staff, all to try and get these players back involved. But all at the same time, we've always got a setback. We've always got a problem. We've always had an issue. So if you look at it from a Callum Wilson standpoint, now he's got a pectoral issue. So yes, he might have other injury when he goes into the gym. He might do other exercises, which is then caused by overuse of a particular injury or using weights in a gym. It might not be football related. It could be just going in the gym, lifting weights, doing this just to keep on top of your upper body strength and this and that. It's called overuse injury. So I think there's going to be a massive inquest going forward. Not saying I love Eddie Howe, what he's done with the players, what he's had. I get all in my world, my job, the teams I coach, I get the lower end. So you got to get the best out of him, which I'm not discrediting what he's done. But has he reached a certain level where he can take certain players? Has he, if that makes sense?
I just think you can only judge that. You can only really judge Eddie when he's got the full squad available. I'm not even talking about the full squad, because every team is going to get injuries. You've got to deal with that. It's just the degree of injuries that we've had this season.
But I totally get that. But then, so therefore, look, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not, I agree with your opinion, but Derek, but what you got in front of you that's what you've got. So therefore, you have to change. You have to mold something different, and we haven't done something different. We can't Gangnam press every game. We can't high press every game. So we've dropped into a 4-5-1. It's just impossible, because then you're going to pick up more minute injuries. You're going to pick up more weird injuries like we have.
Right.
So you have to change. You have to manipulate. You have to go. It's in a phrase. It's called holistic interventions. So you have to look at it holistically of how can I change certain things and look from outside the box, looking in to change the.
Yeah.
You have to change the way you play, and we have to do that as coach. But we're stubborn. But again, I'm not calling for his head.
Right.
But I've said this for a while, and Ian can vouch for that in terms of what I've said previously. Not that I love the fella, but something has to change somewhere along the road in terms of an overhaul of the medical staff or overhaul of recruitment staff. I know a lot of things that was going on behind the scenes, and people are arguing with whoever, and people think it's Dan Ashworth and Eddie Howe. No, it's not. It's other dynamics within that setup, which is the problem. So, and Dan Ashworth was there at the game today.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
So what's he looking at? What do we need to do to move forward?
Well, I don't know. He needs to be. I don't know if he needs to be looking at anything. If he's going to leave, we need to keep him out of the offices. You can't be listening to us.
I think it's all media talk, Chris. To be perfectly honest, and I think it's all.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. If he's going to leave, he needs to stay away from the offices, man. We can't.
If he was going to leave, he would have left already.
All right. Well, we'll see. Roy, are you ready?
I'm here, man. Yeah, I'm here.
Man, did you put your lions away? You put your tigers away?
Yeah, I've calmed down a bit now after this, and I agree, mate. I agree with all the guy, everything everyone said. It's at the end, it's Eddie. He's going to be the one responsible for what happened today, not Dan Burn, or he's the one who picked Dan Burn. Everyone's been shouting, "Don't play him! Don't play him!" Okay, first goal wasn't his fault. Second goal, he could have done better.
Dan Burn was good today.
Hold on. Let him finish.
People shout us down, but he was good.
Yeah, so let Roy go ahead, Roy.
So I'm thinking now about the next game, Arsenal. So he's going to have Saka on his side. Is he going to play him again, or is he going to? Yeah. Why doesn't he change? Go three centre backs, and then have Livramento on the left as well. So double on him.
Right.
I think one of the reasons Dan Burn succeeded last year was Joe Linton and Willock helping him a lot, and they're not there now.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with
He's
that.
struggling. Yeah, he's struggling a lot by himself. And the other reason is he doesn't offer anything going forward like Trippier does or Livermore. So we kind of lacking defensively with the long balls towards him, and we're lacking going forward. So we love him, but what are you gonna do? Um,
He is
Eddie
going
Eddie's
forward
not
now.
going to change it. Yeah, but he doesn't do anything. He gets the ball and it's too slow. Defenders know
Yeah,
what to do.
the thing is, the thing here, and I'll go with Ian. So you can make your assessment on the game. You were at the game today, right?
Yeah. I've literally just got back. I was watching you
Okay.
on the way back
So
in the car, and I thought I'll jump on.
yeah, and I'll leave you with this question, or comment, I guess, is that you can't blame Burn for everything that happened on the pitch. That's obviously, if you blame him for that, then you need to uh, look at the game over and over and learn something, because obviously he's not the single fault at everything. But with that being said, when they scored today, obviously Burn was in that play, and it was his man. And so now let me get your opinion on the game. What do you think about that?
Okay, so my opinion on the game, or my opinion on Dan Burn, or both?
Oh, all of it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I thought we were shit today. I thought we dominated possession and dominated the game in the first half without actually doing anything. I think Longstaff needs a right good kick up the bollocks. To be honest, he's been the square root. He's done the square root of fuck all for the last, I don't know, most of this season, and it's now beginning to actually annoy me. I thought Miley was excellent. Miley was picking up a lot of the workload. I don't know whether he's carrying it. It's not the Sean that we had last season. Certainly, he was everywhere last season. I thought he was really poor today. Like some people were saying, "Oh, he's done all right." I literally forgot he was playing for massive amounts of the game. Bruno was class. Miley was class. We need a defensive midfielder, which I've said for 2 seasons now. Bruno's not that. He can play that, but he isn't that for us. We need somebody who is going to sit there now. Like for large quantities of the game, Miley was playing as a number 6 or more as a number 6 than the other two. And I thought he did really well. He was breaking up play. He made some excellent tackles. His passing was excellent. Defensively, I should have probably started the defense. I'm not even going to talk about Dubravka, just because he's pointless. I'll say he made 2 really good saves in the first half, like excellent saves. I don't know whether they've overwatered the pitch or whether he was on the piss last night or something, but that was right underneath my nose, and it was fucking embarrassing, right? Like, it was awful. I know he wasn't sold the best pass, really. I know that he got dropped in it a bit by Botman, but still, I don't know if they overwatered the pitch. Does he need to change his studs? Whatever, I don't know, but that was really piss poor. I thought Dan Burn had a really good game. If you look, I've not looked at the stats, but if you look at the stats, I'll be surprised if he's not got as good a stats as anybody in the defence, apart from maybe Trips. Share was okay. Botman, I thought, was poor today. I don't know what it looked like on telly, but from where I was sat, Botman was not very good. Botman does not trust Dubravka. You can clearly see that. He has no faith in Dubravka, and that's actually affecting all the defence, because Botman's the leader in the defence, with Trips, obviously. But he's the leader in the centre, and you can tell he doesn't trust Dubravka, and I think that almost makes Dubravka nervous. That's what it looks like, having looked at it over the season. But at Dan Burn, yes, he's never going to have the pace, and yeah, you stick some kid next to him who's rapid, he's going to get skinned for pace. But that goal was not his fault. The first goal, like the one where he was up against the I can't remember what he's called. The fast kid. That again came from a massive hole in the midfield. Again, there's no one plugging the gap there, and that's a tactical issue. We need somebody who's just right. This is your job. Whether it's Miley, Long, you can't do it. We know that. Like, I don't think I would have played that Joe White ahead of him. I thought he actually did all right when he came on. At least he was running. he was running around, and the little cameo he had, I don't think he misplaced a pass. Might have undersold one slightly, I think, but I thought he did okay. But I just think now, they've got to focus. That position is so important, like, to get somebody in there who's, a proper, like a Makaleli type that sort of player. They can play a bit, but what they're going to do is break up play, pass the ball to Bruno, pass the ball to Miley, let them do what they do best, or Joelinton or whoever is playing, Willock or whatever. Up front, Gordon, I thought, I don't know what people are complaining about Gordon for, but he was everywhere. That lad covered every blade of grass. He couldn't have given any more. He scored a goal, obviously the penalty, and honestly, I thought he was excellent as a false nine, and that's what he did. He tried leading the line as much as he could, but with the way we were playing, it was very hard. He was having to come back to link up because players weren't moving for each other, and Longstaff was, at one point, Bruno had the ball, and he's literally going, move. And Longstaff had two of their players between him and Bruno, and everywhere their players went, he hid behind them. He did not want that ball, I'm telling you. I'll watch it back, but from watching it live, he did not want the ball. And you can't have a passenger like that in the team. I don't know what's happened to him, whether he's injured, whether he's really low in confidence, whatever. He scored them 2 goals the other week, and I thought that was one of the shittest games I've ever seen him have. If he hadn't scored them 2 goals, he would have got a 3 out of 10. He was rubbish, apart from the 2 goals, which I know is going to sound ridiculous. Barnes, I thought, was excellent. I thought he did as much as he could do. He created as much as he could create without much on the end of it. I wish Barnes had got some of the chances that Miggy got. I don't really want to comment too much on Miggy because, he didn't.
Why?
He really tried hard. But
You think he tried hard?
He tried really hard. He ran around a lot.
Yeah.
He could have put, I think it was Barnes that he was clearly, if he just looked up, Barnes is through. Barnes scores all day. Fuck, honestly, like, I couldn't believe it. Everyone in the stadium, apart from Miggy, seen the pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
no,
it's
I get that. I think that we must be careful with confusing running with, you said, trying. He needs to be a footballer.
You'll never have a lack of effort.
But I understand that, but he needs to be a footballer. He's a right winger. That's his position. And today was the Almiron that we've seen a million times with the Newcastle shirt. When you can clearly see the frustration from his teammates.
Yeah.
Like, do you know where he looked?
Pass me the ball, man.
Do you know where he looked the best? Do you know where he looked the best? Through the middle.
Who?
Miggy.
But you can tell. But you already know. So now my question is going to be this one for one last roundup, because that sets me up perfectly, because you said that his best position is in the middle. Dan Burn, some people say that his best position should be as a center back, more towards the middle.
So he is a center back.
So right. So some people say that we shouldn't be going forward gun hole and just leave ourselves open in the back. Some people have all these comments and that are what's wrong with the team, right? Eddie Howe does not change one bit. So I'm going to start with Mighty Win, and we're going to go through the round again. Do we need to change? Because we can agree that we need a midfield. The Mighty Wins is the first thing. We need a midfield. Midfield doesn't help out. This and that. So we can agree that there's something wrong. Why can we not make a change? Why does Eddie think this is the way we play? Kind of bringing me back to the entertainers type mentality. Holding obviously the differences because that team actually competed for the Premier League. But Derek, do we need to change, or are we just going to keep playing the way we are and it is what it is?
I think we've got to stiffen that midfield up. It's as plain as the nose on your face. Those 3 aren't doing it, and they're leaving the back 4 just completely exposed. As I say, I mean, a lot of people say Shea can't play DM. I think he can, but it's just poor at the minute. It's very, very poor, and also this reluctance to pass the ball forward quickly enough. But again, I think that's because we haven't got a, and I don't necessarily mean a target man, but we haven't got a focal point in attack. When Isaac and Wilson aren't there, there's no focal point in attack. So the defence, whoever we're playing, they haven't got a contact, so they can come further up. And that knocks us further back, and then we're tippy-tappy round the back again. Pope, Shaw, well, Dubravka, and they're passing across the back. But unlike, like Man City, where they'll then put an incisive ball through to the likes of Foden or whatever, we're just not doing it, and then it always ends up going down the wing to that little triangle of Trips and Miggy and Bruno. And of course, that means Bruno's up there, so he's not doing DM, which I don't think he should be doing anyway, by the way. But we just ain't got a DM. And we're not playing the right formation for me for to accommodate the fact that our midfield currently is so weak.
Well, Billy Trey from the Tune Review makes a great point right here. That I was going to cut you off, but I wanted to be respectful to my elders, Derek. I didn't want to cut you off, brother. But he says we can't stiffen up the midfield because we have no other fit midfielders. Burn has to drop if we go with a 4. He is a liability. This is what Billy Bob is saying. So no, I'm saying I agree with that point of view. But you think we got to stiffen up the midfield? But how are we going to do that? I'm telling. What I asked you was,
I would put Cher in midfield.
So you would put So when is the last time that you've seen Sharp play in midfield as a defensive midfielder?
Yeah, it doesn't at times for Switzerland.
Switzerland,
and they got the World Cup last 16.
Okay, well, that's your point of view. That's fine. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be opposed to making something new, making a new move to kind of see what happens. Because obviously, the way we're doing it is not we're not exactly lighting it up. Tony, what are your thoughts, man? Are we changing? Do we need to change, or we just play the same way we're doing?
Well, before I go to that, obviously Ian was on about, he doesn't like, obviously what Dan Burns' stats were today, and I've got his stats here. He played 71 minutes, and he made 3 clearances in them 71 minutes, 2 tackles. He won his 2 out of 2 ground duels. He won 4 out of 5 aerial duels. He lost possession 14 times. He had 48 touches of the ball, and 20 out of 31 passes were accurate, which is 65%. And he had 1 shot off target. And that
defensively he was excellent. Offensively,
yeah.
We know what we're getting from him. He's a centre back playing at left back.
But
that's only going off the stats that they've put out there on SofaScore.
So do we need? But Tony, do you think that we need to change something, or what's? We just play the way we do.
Well, the problem is, look, I agree with what Billy's saying because we haven't got the midfielders. I mean, Joe White came on for his debut today. But we know Willock's still a bit of time away yet. We don't know how long.
End of February.
Could be a few weeks away. We don't know how far away he is, but we're badly missing Willock in that midfield, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, look, if you look at Miggy, when he plays for Paraguay, he sort of comes in from the left and plays centre midfield in that attacking midfield role. Which used to do the MLS as well for Atlanta United.
Yeah, he played the 10
same for them. Yeah, if you look at his stats back then, they don't lie. They tell you where he played. And I don't like him playing on the right because I think he's wasted on the right because he hasn't got a right foot. And he's got to cut into his left, and that's where teams are working him out now, and they're seeing that they're putting more players on him. But the thing is, we can't really stiffen that midfield up more. I agree with what Derek said about Cher. I mean, yes, he has played as a DM before for Switzerland. And the thing is, Cher could actually play that role, if I'm honest, because look, we know that we can spray a pass about as well. You can just spray a ball about, and I think Cher would be actually absolutely brilliant in that role, if I'm honest.
Right.
Maybe not as a full-time DM, but if you want a part-time DM, certainly slot him in there and put Burn into centre-back. But
and I mean, look,
And I've said this for quite a long time now. Even for the last couple of months, I've said that defence does not trust Martin Dubravka in goal. They have missed Pope badly. But
Yeah, well,
I think
but
the
at the end of
problem
the
is
day,
it's that gap. It's that gap between the midfield and defence which is worrying.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's got
yeah.
to be tightened up.
Um, but just I don't know, Kevin. Do you know anything? But look, we're talking about Shar. It looks like Shar is walked off with the arm kind of. It looked like he was hurt. So
Yeah, I just sent him a picture of what I just had a quick scroll through feeds and this and that. He's again looks like a Callum Wilson thing with his
Yeah.
arm or something going on.
yeah. So
Um,
now we have no more options in the midfield. Uh, and that was I know that was Derek's dream, but I don't know. Hopefully he'll
well,
be all right. But
yeah, hopefully, who knows? Again, who knows?
yeah, who knows? I will
It's,
go. I will
it's
go.
initial.
Let me go with Roy on next
Yeah,
on this. Billy says he wasn't excellent defensively. He did what he can, but without J7, it isn't good enough, especially with Tino ready to slot in. Uh, um, Roy, what would you do? What changes do we need to make, if any? Because playing like this is not cutting it.
I think. Well, I think Miggy is much better as a number 10. I've seen him as well with Paraguay. He's much better. It's like a different player, and he can help the midfielders as well. So if you drop Longstaff and play him in midfield, and maybe have the other two lads, Miley and Bruno, behind him, so this might stiffen up everything. Um, Now Shah's gone, I hope Lascelles fit, because I trust Lascelles more than Dan Burn, even at centre back as well. He's got more pace. So I'm thinking about the Arsenal game anyway now. So
Right.
yeah, so I would go if they're all fit. I think I'll go with three centre backs anyway, and Tino on left wing back, and Trippier right wing back. So you need five at the back. You're not going to stop them. We're going to get battered. If we play like today, we'll get battered. So
Yeah.
we need five in the middle, and maybe Miggy can help, and we'll have to ride our luck, because they will control the game. They will have probably 50, no, not 50. I've probably got 70 plus ball possession. So that's the only way to stop them. That our game plan next week should be how you're going to stop Arsenal. And
Like we did 2 seasons ago when we got I think it was 1-1 when we got the draw.
No.
yeah, now
Well,
Shithousery. Bring back the shithousery.
but the thing,
that's what we're gonna have to do. That's what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
You can't play with Burn on left back against Saka. That's I can bring a 10-year-old kid, and he knows what's gonna happen.
Right. Well, we got 4 points against Arsenal against Saka last year. We're Burn playing left back.
Aye, but he had Joe Linton and Willock helping.
That's the main point.
That's the thing.
and
He hasn't got anyone helping him now.
It's nothing to do with Dan Burn. It's the midfield.
I know, but the thing is, now I know the biggest problem we've got in midfield is Longstaff. He's invisible.
and that's the thing, Roy. I mean, the fact that it's not because you got obviously three human beings playing there, but the problem is that they are not pulling their end of the bargain. I mean, Bruno's trying to do everything, and Longstaff is not. I don't know what is going on with him. He's got to be the biggest letdown this season. I mean, he scored not too long ago, 2 matches in a row. Against
Well, my
Luton and against
grandmother would have
Aston Villa.
scored them.
But man, when it comes to doing your job again, because Dubravka can score the match winner tonight. He could have scored that, but that doesn't mean that he was a
He
good.
nearly did for them.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that he was a good goalkeeper. You got to judge a player on their particular position, and
Exactly, yeah.
Longstaff is not doing it, man. Longstaff is. I don't know what's going on with him, because he hasn't been hurt in a while. So he should be back mentally, physically, whatever it is. But Kevin, quickly and swiftly, what do we need to change, man?
mentality, attitude, desire, want.
Stop getting injured.
Not get injured. Yeah. Thanks,
Bruno
Ian. I
not getting a
appreciate that,
yellow.
man. Thank you. But I just looked at Arsenal's lineup today against Burnley. It was a 4-3-3. So do you go man for man, or do you change it to where you overload the midfield like every team does against us when you play a 4-3-3? Again, those are the decisions that is above my pay grade and above we all have, and that's Eddie Howe's decision. What does he do? Agree with the mighty win? Do we go to the shithousery world and just get a 0-0 draw and roll out of the Emirates and get a point?
Simeone style.
See what?
Simeone style. Diego Simeone style.
Oh yeah, well, it's worse than that. You got Mad Dog Tyndall on the dugout. You know what I mean? And like what Bournemouth done with us today, not literally kick the crap out of us, but niggle fouls. Just disrupt play. I'm again concerned with the Saka Burn 1v1 duel. So do you change that?
It won't be a duel.
Well, no, he scored 2 today, so he's Saka's flying. So
Well, the thing is, Saka really doesn't fly, does he? I mean, he cuts to the middle. He's more technical. He thinks the game. He's not the
Saka's left-footed. So if he cuts in,
right.
then that's
Well, so
Danburn's left-footed.
Exactly. Well, I think that it. I mean, listen, we're just talking here for the sake of having a show because Burn is going to play. So let's stop messing around. Let's be honest with ourselves. And I think that his best, uh, the best way he can stop Saka is just stay in front of him. Don't go for it. He's going to try to fake left and right. Just stay in front of him.
So therefore, do you play a 3?
I would.
Therefore, do you put Tino man-to-man mark on Saka and just let him?
Tino just helping Burn would be a massive.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the point, and have and overload the midfield. That's where they're like. For me, one of the best players outside of Kevin De Bruyne and one of the best players in the Premier League is Odegaard for Arsenal. He can dictate a game like a Kevin De Bruyne can. So if you can isolate and stop him playing, granted, who's going to play as a 6? But we've got it's double movements and double pivots within our midfield. A lot of players playing different positions. For me, I would be very structured and be very solid and be very boring like a Jose Mourinho and park the bus, kick the crap out of him, and get what we can get. That would be my approach, and unfortunately, but you're going to play up against the potential champions of the Premier League potentially.
All right.
Yeah. So
Tony, appreciate you for coming on, brother. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna close up pretty soon too with Ian's last opinion. But see you, Tony. Appreciate you, brother. You're muted, by the way.
Nice one, Tony.
Sorry.
Cheers,
see you later, guys. Cheers. Thank you, mate. See you later.
Yeah, of course. Ian, just close up on you, man. You're gonna have the last word. So I guess that makes you feel like a man.
I always feel like a man, mate.
All right. Well, what are we gonna switch up, man? Do we have to change anything?
I want to say a few other things as well, which I didn't get a chance to say before. That I heard when people were commenting when I was driving home listening to you. But first, to me, I am sticking up for Dan Burn, but I don't think Dan Burn should be starting. If we play 4-4-3, I've said for months and months since the start of the season, Tino should be at left back. Before, when everyone was saying Tino can't play left back, he's a right back, and I said no, he played left back. He used to play left back and right back. We've seen him play left back. He's proved he can play left back, and he is a better footballer and a better left back than Dan Burn. He's the best left back we've got at the moment. That's my point on it. But the shit that Dan Burn's taking, and I don't want to go over the top on it, but like I was in the crowd today, and when that goal went in, that Dan Burn, I don't think Dan Burn was at fault for it. It was again that hole in midfield, and there was a small minority of generally younger fans who, as soon as the ball went in, started shouting "Tino, Tino," and I turned around and told them to shut the fuck up, as did lots of other people, and they did shut the fuck up very quickly. But that to me is a fucking embarrassment. You know, you're there. That the lad, the bloke, Dan Burn cannot do any more, cannot give any more than he's given for the team. Yes, he's slow. He turns like the fucking Zeebrugge ferry. You know what I mean? He literally, you know, he is not a left back. But if Eddie's playing him at left back, and I understand why, because he drops into that back three when Trips goes doing what he's got to do, getting all his assists and all that. But he's exposed now, which we've all said, which everyone said, and it's quite right. But without Big Joe and without Willock, and when Joe and Willock were on that left-hand side, he was a much, much, much better left back. But he's not a left back. So one of the main things I wanted to say is people who are shouting Tino, they're not helping the situation. And especially as every time a goal comes in and it comes from that side, Dan Burn's getting the blame. They actually have to watch the, you know, I've only seen it live, which I know I'll watch it back and I might actually think differently than I think now. But the passion of being there and hearing people doing that to one of our players, who's a fucking Geordie, by the way, and loves the tune, right, is embarrassing. And they need to fucking wind the necks in because they're an embarrassment. But it's young kids, and so they'll probably learn when they grow a pube or whatever, you know what I mean? But that was to really fucking piss me off. That I don't know whether I've made that clear or not.
And by the way, when that ball was played through to Semenyo for the goal, Dan Burn, he's looking to the left wing to cover the left wing, and he's actually signalling to Botman,
yeah,
to come across, and Botman was way late coming across.
Yeah, Botman was at fault. Nobody. It was all. It was it's a team. You play as a team. It was a team fuck up, team cock up, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but then Botman started screaming at him to show him certain ways because he was recovering. If you look, you'll see it in highlights.
But I watch it back.
Well, I haven't watched it back yet. I'm going to, as soon as we come up here, I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, we have to call it off. I mean, it's been a great show. Actually, one of the best shows that we've had. Of course, you know.
I think the main thing is we look with 5 minutes of normal time left. I turn round to Tommy. Oh, do you know the other thing? Sorry. The other thing I wanted to pick up on that I heard on the show before was reports of people leaving the ground early. Yep. People leave the ground early all the time. There was no more leaving the ground early this time than there is every single match, especially like I was up with Tommy in level 7. There's a lot of families there, and there's a lot of young kids. I mean, 2, 3, 4-year-old kids. They don't want to get stuck in the crush. There's also a lot of kids who just want to go and get a beer, or have a fight or whatever. And there's a few went out, but no more than usual. So it does annoy me when I see it, and it'll annoy them even more because obviously we got the equaliser.
Yep.
With the 5 minutes of normal play left, I turned around to Tommy and I said, "If we get a point here, I'll be buzzing," and I'll leave it on that.
Yeah. We'll leave it on that note. I do have to just shout out the members real quick. And if you can become a member, we have this thing that's new to the show. You get loyalty badges next to your name in the comments. Of course, right now that's everybody's becoming a member. You get the Lewis Miley, Lil Young badge, but you progressively make it to the Alan Shearer badge. We got the Tonali, we got Trippier, we got Shea Given, Nobi Solano, Beersley. We got King Kevin, and then of course Alan Shearer at the end. And right now the custom emojis is me crying. You can have Paul Clark is a footballer. You can put the Mighty Win. Look at that. The Mighty Win is an emoji. So if you're a member, you can use the Mighty Win's face right there, and then support the American Magpies. We're going to be able to add more emojis. I think that we have more members now, so we can actually add more. So we'll put Roy in there smoking his cigarette. Well, we'll make it fun. We'll definitely have Ian's face right there. I don't want to get sued for copyright, so regardless, we'll have Ian there, Toon Trader. We're gonna have Kevin talking shit for 10 minutes, and then everybody's gonna be there. I love these guys. These guys are my mates, my brothers, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
they're amazing. So thank you for being on. And later tonight at 11 p.m. we're gonna be back with the American Magpie Show with John O'Hare and Superfan Dan. So stay tuned for that one. For now,
Oh, I might jump on that one with Superfan Dan.
but you gotta pick your poison, man. Are you American or are you a Geordie? You can't be in the American show if you're not American. So
He's a bit of both, isn't he?
Whoa, hey, that's a bit
Oh,
racist.
look, I might not jump on anymore, Chris. That's a dagger to the heart, son.
It's you
Behave
gotta pick
yourself.
you gotta pick your battle, man. Are you gonna be called the American Magpie or are you a Geordie? So it's
I'm
up to
always
you.
a Geordie, mate. I'll just live here.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in the
Listen
next
as
one.
well, it's good to see you, Roy. Not seen
See
you
you,
for
mate.
ages, mate. King of
Yeah,
Canada. I
man.
love you, man.
Roy's part of
Yeah,
he signed the contract already.
Love you,
He's
brother.
part of
Roy's the daddy, like I love Roy, man. He's a top man.
yeah, and you
That's
know
his
he
thing
lives
as well.
he lives in
Roy
Qatar,
looks
so
suave, by the way, in that
he lives in Qatar, so we had
idyllic
to
background.
we had to. Oh yeah, he's got he's got gold. He's got everything in the back.
set up right there.
Yeah, man, and we had to. He signed a contract, Roy. He's part of the team. We had to
Right.
put a
Yes,
few,
good man.
we had to put a few tigers in there. A couple golden toilets, but he signed the contract nonetheless. So we'll see you
It's
guys
like
in
the
the next one,
Hangover
man.
movie.
Cheers, cheers.
Take it easy, man.
See you soon.